Are you having problems with your Porsche 958 rear door lock assembly not working? Today we're going to knock that out. Hi everybody, welcome back to Auto Anatomy. My name is Sean. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we're taking a break from working on the flooded Corvair fuel injection project, and I'll put a link up there if you want to check that out, to work on something that's been on my to-do list for, unfortunately, way too long. My wife noticed a few months ago that the alarm wasn't chirping when you hit the lock button, and that when you take off from a stop, that it sounded like the door locks were trying to lock. After doing a little research, it looks like this is a pretty common problem for the 958 generation Cayennes, and I assume it's also the same for like the Tiguan and the Q7, whichever Q5 maybe, whatever platform the Cayenne is based off of. So I reached out to Pelican Parts and picked up a new door latch assembly, and today we're going to knock out replacing that. Now, I've looked at the instructions and it doesn't look terrible. There's a lot of things that have to come off, but we're going to tackle it together. Before we get started, if you like seeing classic cars get brought back to life, take just a moment and hit that subscribe button and click on the bell to be notified when new videos come out. All right, let's dive into taking off the door panel and kind of seeing exactly what we're working with. So before we get started, here's a list of the tools that you're going to need.
Required tools for this job will be a T25 Torx bit, a T30 Torx bit, a 6mm triple square bit, a 13mm socket and ratchet, some form of a non-marring prying tool, and a small slot head screwdriver.
First step is let's roll down the window about 9 inches. Once the window's down, to prevent anything from shorting out, we're going to disconnect power going to the door itself. And there's just a little tab you push down, and then there's the power connector here. It's probably easier to see from the other side. But you're just going to push this lever down, and then this should slide straight out. Just like that. Behind the door handle, there's going to be one screw, so we'll open the door handle and gently remove this little plastic cover. And there's one T30 down inside that pocket. The next step is to remove this trim panel here to access the screw kind of right about here. Now, if you've got a set of non-scratch tools, you can just get right behind where this silver meets the body. If not, just take a piece of tape and very gently come behind and pry forward. And right here you can see the T30 screw that's right behind it. Next up, we're going to remove the armrest, and this just pulls straight up. Next up, this black plastic trim piece comes off and it comes straight back this way. And there is one T30 screw right there, followed by the one plastic cover at the front end with another T30 behind it. And this just pulls straight away. With the screw out of the front of the door pull, we can just pull the whole assembly towards us. At the very bottom of the door, there is a T25 screw that'll come out next. With all the screws out of the door panel, we can finally take it off, and all we need to do is just gently pry the door panel away from the door body itself, and it should pop off without any real difficulty. Inside the door, we'll need to remove just a couple of harnesses. The first one is going to be for our door handle assembly itself, and this may be easier to show you once I get it undone. So to remove the door cable assembly, you'll merely squeeze these two tabs and then pull back, and that'll let it pivot out of here, and then you can just take it quickly out of the door handle itself. The rest is just popping out a couple of wiring harnesses. With the door panel off, the next thing is to pull out these two rubber plugs, which when removed should expose the screws that let you loosen the clamp to take the glass out. Once the rubber plugs are out, you can see the end of the little stud down in there on each side, and what you need to do is actually tighten it. So you'll turn it clockwise in order to loosen the clamp. Doesn't have to be terribly loose, you know, maybe 2 or 3 turns. and then we'll be able to slide the glass up and out. All right, next step is there's these little tape covers that need to come off, and there's a T30 screw behind each one of those. All right, we're almost there. The next step is to take your 13mm socket, and on these little white plugs, they are just a quarter turn, and they will stop when they unscrew. So we'll just take them, do a quarter turn on all of them, and then this will release the inner door panel, letting us access the actual door latch itself. We also need to take off this one screw using your T20. So you can see we've just slid the door panel, the inner door panel, enough to release the top pivots here, which were these two bolts that we pulled out. And now we've got enough room to get into the door itself to get out the latch mechanism. There is one plug that plugs into the bottom side of the latch mechanism. And to get it out, all you have to do is just push this little tab down and pull down, and it'll come down this way. With this tab out of the way, you can actually swing the entire door panel, the inner door, out of the way, and look how much room we have now. So now you can see up inside the door itself, and this is what we're trying to get out. So we've got one cable right here, and this runs from the outer door handle to the latch mechanism. And then this actually attaches on the inside here, but the only way that you're going to get it is when the entire latch mechanism is out. So let's not worry about this one for the moment. To remove the bolts holding the latch assembly itself in place, we're going to use a 6mm triple square. With the screws out of the end here, we can take the whole assembly and slide it back. And hopefully that'll give us enough room to get that inside cable out. And here's our latch assembly. This is the part that we're actually going to replace. So all of this needs to be transferred over to the new lock. To remove the cable, what we're going to take is a small screwdriver and lift up this tab, and then rotate, and this should come straight out. And same thing on the back side here. We're just going to lift up this little tab, rotate, and then the cable should come out. Now all we need to do is transfer all of this over to the new latch assembly. So here's our new latch from Pelican Parts. It's a Euro Parts brand. And then all we need to do now is really just start popping all the pieces back on. This thing should come together pretty quickly. All right, now we're ready to reinstall in the car. Before putting the door panel back on, we just need to take a look at all of these little push pins and make sure that they are popped up. And if they're not, just take a door panel tool and pop them up just like that. Door panel is all back together. Let's go fire it up and see if it works. All right, here we go. Hey, that works. And the door is latched. Make sure it works again. I'm not really sure why I put that one off for so long, because that really wasn't that hard of a job. So it took me about an hour with just some basic hand tools, and this is something you can absolutely do at home. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. God bless. We'll see you next time.